In ancient times, there was a wise and renowned sage named Yajnavalkya. He was known for his profound knowledge of the Vedas and his spiritual insight. His teachings were highly respected by scholars and kings alike. One day, the great King Janaka of Videha, a ruler revered for his wisdom and wealth, decided to hold a grand yajna, sacrificial fire ceremony, to test the knowledge of the sages and priests who had gathered at his court. King Janaka, although immensely wealthy, was deeply concerned about the true nature of wealth and spirituality. He believed that one could not truly attain spiritual wisdom while being attached to material wealth. He wanted to know whether the great sages could answer deep, challenging questions about the true value of wealth and the essence of spirituality. Yajnavalkya, who had already gained immense fame for his knowledge, was invited to participate in the yajna. The story of his clever responses to King Janaka's probing questions would go down in history as an example of the importance of spiritual wisdom over material gain. The test of knowledge. When Yajnavalkya arrived at King Janaka's court, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. The king, surrounded by his ministers, scholars, and advisors, began to speak. "Great sages, I have a question for you. I have 1,000 cows here before me, and I will give them as a gift to the sage who answers my question. But this gift is not for the one who merely speaks well or impresses with words. The true recipient must be the one who answers my question with wisdom and insight." The assembled sages were eager to earn the cows, as such a gift would be a great honor. King Janaka then posed the question, "Tell me, O wise ones, what is the true value of wealth? What is more valuable than wealth, and how can one attain the highest form of spiritual wisdom?" The sages fell silent, unsure of how to respond. They looked at each other, uncertain whether they could give a proper answer to such a profound question. However, Yajnavalkya, confident in his understanding of the essence of spirituality, stepped forward without hesitation. Yajnavalkya's response. Yajnavalkya addressed King Janaka with respect, his voice steady and clear. "O king, wealth is not the highest goal of life. Wealth may bring temporary comfort and worldly pleasures, but it cannot provide the eternal truth that leads to liberation. What is more valuable than wealth is the knowledge of the Atman, the eternal self that pervades all beings. The Atman is beyond the physical body and mind, and it is the true source of all life and consciousness." Yajnavalkya continued, "True wealth is not found in the accumulation of material possessions, but in the realization of the oneness of the soul with Brahman, the supreme reality. The pursuit of wealth may be a part of worldly life, but it must not overshadow the pursuit of spiritual wisdom. For the one who has realized the self, wealth and possessions hold no ultimate significance. The enlightened soul is free from attachment and desires, transcending both poverty and riches." King Janaka, impressed by Yajnavalkya's response, asked another question to probe the depth of his understanding. "But what of the material world, O sage? What is the true value of wealth in this life? Should one renounce it entirely?" Yajnavalkya replied, "Wealth in this world serves a purpose, but it is not the end goal. It is to be used wisely, for the benefit of society, for performing righteous actions, and for supporting those in need. The true purpose of wealth is not to hoard or indulge, but to use it as a tool for dharma, righteousness, and spiritual growth. Wealth is fleeting, but wisdom and spiritual knowledge are eternal. One must not become enslaved by wealth, but instead, see it as a means to an end." The gift of cows. King Janaka was deeply moved by Yajnavalkya's insights, and he recognized that the sage had truly understood the essence of life, wealth, and spirituality. The king then said, "O Yajnavalkya, your wisdom has surpassed the worldly understanding of wealth. You have shown that true wealth is not material but spiritual. Therefore, I give you these 1,000 cows, as a token of my respect for your knowledge." However, Yajnavalkya, ever the insightful teacher, smiled gently and replied, O king, I have no need for these cows. My wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the wisdom I have gained through the knowledge of the Atman. I do not seek riches, for they cannot bind me. I seek only the truth, and the truth is beyond all wealth. The court fell silent, as the assembled sages and ministers marveled at Yajnavalkya's response. The king, though wealthy, was humbled by the sage's unwavering commitment to the path of spiritual wisdom over material gain. Yajnavalkya's words had struck at the very heart of the transient nature of wealth and the enduring nature of spiritual truth. The deeper lesson. At this moment, King Janaka realized the profound truth that Yajnavalkya had revealed. He understood that true wisdom is the highest wealth, for it is the only thing that can lead one to liberation and peace. Material wealth, although necessary for worldly purposes, cannot provide the eternal fulfillment that spiritual knowledge offers. To honor Yajnavalkya's wisdom, King Janaka decided to hold a grand feast for the sages, where the cows were distributed not as a reward for personal gain, but as offerings for the benefit of the greater good. The essence of the story. True wealth is spiritual wisdom. Yajnavalkya's teaching highlights that the highest form of wealth is the knowledge of the eternal self, Atman, not the accumulation of material possessions. Spiritual wisdom transcends the transient nature of wealth, leading to liberation. Detachment from material wealth. While material wealth may serve practical purposes, true wisdom involves detachment from worldly possessions. Wealth should be used for righteous purposes, and should never become the focus of one's life. Wisdom and knowledge lead to liberation. The pursuit of knowledge of the self, or Brahman, leads to spiritual liberation. This knowledge liberates one from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, and frees the individual from attachment to the impermanent world. The role of a true sage. Yajnavalkya's actions demonstrate the role of a true sage, to teach others the way to spiritual enlightenment and to live a life free from attachment to the material world. A true sage does not seek material rewards, but seeks to impart wisdom to others. Thus, the story of Yajnavalkya and the cows teaches us the value of spiritual knowledge over material wealth, and reminds us that true fulfillment comes not from possessions, but from understanding the deeper truths of existence.